And I am Abby Wright, the Cannastrologer. Round two.
Round two, Mercury retrograde. Yay! My hair's getting frizzier by the minute, so we're super excited about that.
Yeah.
Tonight we're going to talk about signs from your loved ones, science and mediumship, and astrology and tarot and
Yes.
mediumship. So put any questions you have in the chat. Sorry if we lost you. Don't know what happened. Mercury.
It's Mercury.
Mercury. Yep, it's Mercury. So here we are, frizzy hair and all on my end. I always wished I had straight hair growing up because my hair was so curly and I could never get it under control.
That's really funny because clearly I have straight hair. I have a little bit of curl, but I grew up always wanting curly hair. So
All my friends told me that. They're like, "You're so lucky. You have so many curls." I'm like, it's not lucky when you live in San Francisco and the fog is constant and your hair looks like a poof ball every day. All right, Lori, what's your question, honey? Thanks for coming back. I have no idea what happened.
it was Mercury retrograde
For sure.
for sure.
So we're going to talk about signs, but I want to see what Lori's question is. I'm afraid to open my computer again, even though I didn't even have our stream on.
I know, and that's what I'm trying to pull up right now. Now my computer's like, I don't want to give you what you're looking for. I'm like, sweet computer, thanks.
My computer yesterday was my old lady computer. She'll be 8 this fall, which is pretty old for a computer.
For a computer.
She was acting all kinds of crazy. My husband is in spirit. My life is blank. Can you tell me what's going to happen to me? Well, I do not do life predictions, but Abby may be able to do a card reading for you if she's willing. I will tell you your husband is safe and at peace, and he crossed over just fine, and you don't have to worry. He is with his loved ones in spirit.
And I am happy to pull cards on your current situation, current energy. Give me just 1 second as I pull up the stream, hopefully. Okay, there we are. So let me go here. And that is with Lori. Okay. So, the cards that I'm going to be, if we want to jump right into this, or are we going to talk
Yeah,
first or
go
jump right
for
into
it.
this?
Go
Okay,
for it.
we can, yeah, starting out something. Oh, hold on now. Cards that I'm going to be, if we want to jump right into this, or are we going to talk first?
Yeah. What is that? Is that coming from your computer?
It's me now. It's my computer now. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. It's all under, we got it all under control now. All right.
We know what we're doing.
Welcome to the live stream, everybody who's watching. A couple more people are popping in. We've had some technical difficulties with Mercury retrograde.
Gotta love it.
I am the Cannastrologer. My name is Abby Wright, and then we have Peaceful Nik, the medium. Today we will be talking about signs from our loved ones, as well as science that proves that mediumship is real. We're going to start out a little different today. I'm going to start with the tarot reading for Lori. Big question. So let's see, what is going to happen with Lori? General energy, please. What will happen to Lori? What's coming up in her energy, please? Calling in spirits for higher peace, power, protection, and prosperity for the greater good for Lori, please. I'm using the Light Seers Tarot deck today. Okay. A big stack, just wanted to like pop off of the top. So there's a lot of energy that just like wanted to jump out at me. The energy going into this is the Page of Wands, bottom of the deck. That's passionate, fiery energy. This also talks about the beginning of something. It's the beginning of a new project, the beginning of it could be a new job. It could be a new just path in life, but something that you're excited about or can get excited about. You may not have a lot of experience for it, but it's something that's brand new, opening up, something that's going to kind of make you jump for joy, like she's doing. Wands are about passionate, be passionate energy towards a person, a relationship, platonic or romantic, or it can be towards like what you're passionate about, work, career, finance, business, passion projects, even. So, what do we have for Lori, please? 3 cards for Lori. I just saw the angel temperance that just wanted to jump out. That's always talking about a loved one, protection. And it's also the sign of Sagittarius. Ooh, and I love this. So we talked about um oh, spot on already. Oh, wonderful. So what I love is that we've got the Ace of Wands, which just talking about a new project or a new endeavor or new something. The Ace of Wands, aces are gifts from the universe. And again, wands are all about passion. And this is talking about a passionate new beginning towards anything. But it also, noticed how she's got like fire right above her third eye. This can
Mhm.
also talk about a spiritual awakening. This is my awakening card. So, Lori, you could be having some type of a spiritual awakening or like a revelation about something. Okay, let's get 2 more cards, please, for Lori. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius energy. Interesting. I'm going to take that in reverse. Then we have the devil in reverse. Don't let the devil scare you. People who are not familiar with tarot always get frightened with the devil card. This can just simply mean, especially in reverse, that you're dealing with a Capricorn or Capricorn energy. But the devil also talks about toxicities, any kind of toxicity. It could be sex, drugs, alcoholism, overeating, oversleeping, overexercising, overworking, any of that, right? Anything that you can overdo in any kind of way. But it's in reverse. So that means that you're working on that or beating that or changing that type of pattern, if that's in case, if that's in fact, what we're talking about here. But I feel like you could just be dealing with a Capricorn. What else do we have for Lori, please? It also could be any kind of negative thought pattern, depression, mental, like anxiety, anything like that. And I feel like you're beating that. Then we have the Page of Cups. So, going along with pages, that first Page of Wands that we saw, pages are also messengers. And they're usually, if the messenger is an actual physical person, they could be younger than you. This is water sign energy, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. So you could be getting a message from a younger water sign. It also talks about, Page of Cups can sometimes represent something that love produces, like a child or a baby, but it also can talk about like a new project, something that you will love. It can also talk about like an apology or wanting to. It's like wanting to like give a message of like starting a new relationship, going out on a date or something like that. Underneath the deck, and it doesn't have to be romantic, just like a new relationship as in like a friendship or something like that as well. What's interesting is underneath the deck, we've got the Six of Pentacles. So Pentacles are all about money, coins, finance, coins. And so this is, and sixes are about stabilizing. So I feel like there's something that's going to be, oh yeah, there's going to be something that's balancing out. The cards behind that, we've got the Fool. So that's the start of a new beginning. That's literally taking a leap of faith into something. And behind that is the Knight of Cups. Notice how he's sitting there holding the flowers. So this is like an offer, something that's being offered to you that when you take this leap of faith, it is going to balance things out for you financially, make you feel a lot more stable. And this is definitely something that, like it's groundbreaking, it's revigorating, it's energizing. And like any kind of negative or evil forces that you feel like you've been dealing with, it's in reverse. I feel like you're going to be coming out of that. So that's what I have for you right now, Lori. I think the energy is beautiful. Actually, this is a great reading, as far as like positive terms go. And I hope that brings you answers, clarity, or insight. I just Oh my God, I just got a promotion to a position I've never done. Oh, I love that so much. Thank you so much. Your energy is amazing. And congratulations and good luck with that as well. Ah, my heart chakra is exploding right now.
Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely
Love it.
beautiful. Speaking of chakras, and I love that. Don't you love it when you give a reading, and sometimes spiritual healers like us are still apprehensive, like, am I saying the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Is this the right message? Do you feel that way? Because sometimes I get worried,
I always
you
get
know?
anxiety. I
Yeah,
always, but it's
yeah,
it's like as a medium, as a reader, you have to just believe that what you're
yeah.
saying, believe,
Trust.
trust that what the energy is coming out. And for me, it's the cards or whatever. But it's something that I have learned to trust more as I've gone along, and I'm sure it'll
Yes.
just continue to, change as well. But yeah, I feel you on that, sister.
Same, same, same. So speaking of your
Hmm.
heart chakra, yesterday I was explaining my son and his girlfriend a couple years ago gave me this beautiful box with these crystals in it.
Nice.
And I was just explaining all the different chakras. So if anybody's interested, I can read those. But I know one of your cards, you had the fire over the third eye.
Hmm.
The pineal gland is inside your brain. And some scientists, speaking of science proves mediumship, some scientists say that when they cut open the pineal gland, they can see that some of the, because it's known as a third eye, some of the cells are similar to the cells in our eyes.
Oh, I never
Now,
knew that.
I would have to double, triple, and quadruple check that research, but I've heard that widely reported. Don't, take that as gospel, but I have read that before. I would have to double check that. So it is interesting.
That
And
is,
anybody who has, yeah, it's fascinating. Anybody who has questions about signs from your loved ones, science and mediumship, tarot, astrology, or anything about any of that stuff, put it in the chat. I have and we'll answer as we go along. I want to just talk first before we go into signs
yeah.
about science proving mediumship is real. I started a new series. It's on my TikTok, my YouTube, my Facebook. And the first one I did was about the eclipse, and it's not really about science proves mediumship. It was just kind of an intro. Then I did a video about non locality, which is amazing. Scientists call it the hard problem, and non-locality means they can't find where our consciousness resides. Scientists can't find it in our brain. Like they can't find the physical place for it.
Right,
So they
where it's
say it's
harbored.
correct. So they say it's non-local and they can't figure out where it is. Well, the answer we all know. It's not in there. It's just sitting in there temporarily, right? So that's non-locality. So I made a video about that. And yesterday I did quantum entanglement, which is like one of my favorite things.
I love that.
So, for those of you who don't know, quantum entanglement is you take one particle of matter or a photon of light, which is what my example was, and you take another and you entangle them, meaning they will interact with each other, whether they are close or far or billions of light years far apart, they'll interact with each other instantaneously. So, our bodies are made of matter, but at its most subatomic levels, it's energy. And so energy can be, um, oh, Clara, sorry.
Yeah, we're back to that
We
again.
transmute the energy
Yes,
to
yes.
positiveness. Um, so when you have particles entangled in our matter brains are made as mediums and tarot and astrologist, is that correct?
Astrologers, astrologists. Yeah, you can say,
Um,
yeah.
we use the energy that's in our mind to connect with the spirit realm or the
Mm.
ether or however you want to define it. And it's non-local. So we're using the energy of in our minds to connect with the energy out there. So that's kind of a very brief overview of how quantum entanglement and quantum physics proves that we are communicating with otherworldly things that aren't tangible to most people. And I have
So,
a bunch more coming up.
so on that note, though, and as it applies to our topic today, being able to connect to the other side. There's lots of ways to connect to the other side. And especially for mediums, like we all started somewhere learning about our gifts and abilities to be able to do so.
Mhm.
And for many of us, it started with signs,
Yeah.
different signs that we were receiving, maybe from loved ones or from other spirits, from other loved ones, that type of thing. So, if you want to start this part of the conversation, what
Sure.
was like one of your first signs?
Oh gosh. The biggest example I can give was at the beginning of my mediumship training is the snow globe story. Have I told you that story about the snow
Yeah,
globe?
but say it again.
For
Yeah.
for the new audience, so I am a scientist and a medium. I've had a over 20-year career working in science communication and science education. And I became a medium. It just conked me over the head one day. That's a whole other story. And I started getting trained through the Oddbod School of Mediumship. And hold on, everyone. And one of our homework assignments was to find a sign from our spirit guide or to ask our spirit guide for a sign. And so I was like, this is hokum. I'm not doing that. And I don't believe spirit guides are real. And so I said, okay, hello, hello.
Hi,
We're
sweet
doing
tooth
great.
girl.
I said, I want to see a snow globe. It was in March. And I'm like, okay. And I just kind of forgot about it. Oh, welcome, sweet tooth girl. I just kind of forgot about it. And then about an hour later, I'm scrolling through Instagram. Sure, you can ask a question as long as it's appropriate. Um, I was scrolling on Instagram. I saw a snow globe ad for a psychic, and I thought, that's weird. I hadn't seen that before, but I'm just going to blow it off and not think too much about it. And then a couple hours later, I saw another snow globe ad. It's probably the same one. Thank you. Thank you. And the next day, I went to a golf shop with my husband. Now, I have zero interest in golf, but he does. So we went to this golf shop. Um, oh,
Pendant. Oh, which one?
that's
Maybe my ring or this pendant. Okay. Yeah.
um, and I go to this golf store, and lo and behold, remember it's March, there was a golf snow globe on the counter. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's real. It's real. The sign I asked for is real. And
Right.
so then on Monday, this was probably a Saturday or Sunday. It was definitely a Sunday because my class was on Saturday. And then Monday I went to work. And there was a lady who worked at where I worked for 40 years. And she had her own big room. She was in charge of special ed at the school. And I walk in, and I hadn't been in there before because I was new to the school. And I looked over, and an entire wall, probably 20 feet long, with shelves and shelves and shelves of snow globes that she had collected the whole time she'd been there. Now,
Wow.
if that's not your spirit guide conking you over the head and saying, get it together, these signs
Right.
are real, I don't know. And then
Right.
my son bought me my Mars snow globe. Now my kids don't know this story. They could care less. They're they're men in their 20s. They're involved in their lives. They're not listening to my mediumship stuff for fun. And now my son is a manager at the golf store where I saw the snow globe. And I asked him a couple weeks ago if they still had it, and he sent me a picture of it. And I was like, oh, full circle moment with the
Yeah.
signs.
That's so great.
Yeah.
And I think last time you told the story, I was like, "Do you notice that right there? That's my Scentsy snow globe. That it was actually a award. It wasn't Scentsy actually. It was an award that I won from the Cannabis Business Awards, but it was while I was working with a company called Scentsy that I'm now working with again. So really excited about that. Um, I get signs all the time. I have always gotten signs. I just didn't know at the time that I was receiving those signs that that's
Mhm,
what they were until after the
mhm.
fact. Very early on, some of my first signs were just through clairaudience. I would listen to music and
Oh,
a
yeah,
certain
music's a big one.
uh-huh, and I would like a certain line or a lyric or something would pop out at me. And then all of a sudden it was like describing my life as it was happening at that moment or something that would then happen. And I'm like, whoa, that was weird because I was just thinking about that. Um, lately, the signs that I receive, well, before that, like I had a friend that passed away many years ago already. And right after the funeral, we went to the house to his house and we were all just kind of around the table talking about memories, having a good
Mhm,
time. We're all smoking joints, whatever, and all of a sudden the lights started flickering. We got flickering lights and it was as we were talking about them, and it was almost
mhm.
that as if like we would say something and then the light would flicker in response, and we were all like, whoa, that's crazy. That was a sign.
Absolutely.
Now, oh yeah, 100%. Now, some of the more clever ways that my spirits let me know that they're listening to me and to always be watching, always be watching. I am a huge fan of crystals and stones. I see them everywhere I go. Doesn't matter if it's in nature or just on a shelf or whatever. But I have been, no joke, um, finding crystals and stones everywhere. I'm trying to find my last two.
I've been
As
watching your posts about that,
and
and
it's
I
all
wanna talk about the electric when you're done with that story.
okay. And but it's been like all quartz, like smoky quartz, clear quartz, snow quartz. And anytime like I go outside now, I'll almost make a joke of it. I'm like, okay, spirits, if you're listening to me, show me a sign. And I just look down at the ground and lo and behold, there's another quartz crystal. Like I just
So
found
crazy.
two new ones in the last 24 hours or something like that. I have probably over 50. I mean, just of that alone, I've got hundreds of crystals and stones, but that's one of that is one of the signs that I get a lot too.
Mhm. Um, is your light flickering? Oh, it's
No,
your
it's
daughter.
somebody's walking through.
Um, Sweet Tooth Girl wants to know about traveling to Paris, but
That was
before
one. Yeah. So
before we answer that, I wanna talk about the electricity and the signs.
okay,
Okay.
perfect.
So, as I was talking about science and mediumship earlier and how our souls are energy that are non-local to our bodies and just kind of sit inside our body while we're alive and then pop out. That soul is like an orb of energy. And once it's removed from your body, and we can project our energy and affect electricity too. Don't get me wrong, but this is an example of your friend
Oh, I
who
believe it.
passed. And
I break computers everywhere I go.
uh,
Everywhere.
don't e- I'll continue with my crazy electrical stories after that.
Okay.
So, it is very easy for them to move through electricity. It's the easiest way because they're energy, and if they just move through this lamp that's sitting in front of me, or my ring light, or whatever, they can make it flicker easily. And as far as electricity, my mother, who passed in 1986, she couldn't wear a watch. She couldn't. She messed electricity up everywhere she went. I think she was an untrained psychic. She had some stuff. But she died before she knew. Um, and everywhere I go, not everywhere, but oftentimes, especially if I'm in a state of anxiety, the cash registers mess up, the computers mess up. My watch, I walked 12,000 steps at the Magic Kingdom a couple days ago, and I came home and sat down, and my watch immediately said, "It's time to stand up." I'm like, just
Go home, watch you're drunk. No.
so I know, and my husband said, "That thing is hard on you. It's just motivating." It's motivating. So yeah, I get it about the electricity. It's super easy. So Sweet Tooth Girl wants to know. Now I don't do psychic predictions, but I don't know if you want to pull cards. Are you still here, Sweet Tooth Girl?
If she is, I am shuffling the cards for this. I'm gonna say one thing though, like I have some oracle cards in front of me that it's still I haven't touched them, But the card that's facing me right now, because she mentioned that she's going to be traveling to Paris, and literally the card that I'm looking at right now is number 22, safe
Oh,
travel.
how funny.
So this is, yeah, so this is keep me safe and let me roam far away but bring me home, and it's number 22.
Oh, that gave
So
me chills.
so the 22nd could be significant for you. I'm pulling some tarot cards. So we have the Wheel of Fortune underneath the deck. That's beautiful because we're talking about fortune. But this is also about cycles, endings and beginnings. And this is card number 10. Um, 10 plus 0 equals 1. So it could be the 10th, the 1st. What do we
She's
have?
born in 2002, so 2-2.
Oh, interesting. So then, okay, that's beautiful. Temperance card, that angel card just popped out again. You are protected, safe travels. And that's card number 14. So the 14th could be significant, which is actually what, 2 days
2
from
days.
now? Two more cards, please, for Sweet Tooth. Two more cards for Sweet Tooth. Number
She said
17, the star, which is healing, hope. It's also about dreams, wishes, desires. Message the authorities on the 11th. Okay. One more, please, for Sweet Tooth. Okay, two cards fell out with that one. And then we have the world. This is incredible. Um, because the world is it's almost just like the Wheel of Fortune. It's all about cycles, endings and beginnings. It's another so this is card 21. So the 21st. So we have the 21st, the 22nd, the 14th, the 17th. Then we have the 10 of cups. This is happiness, wish fulfillment, everything that you could dream of that makes you happy, house, home. We also have the 9 of wands that fell out with it. So this tells me that even though what I see in your future is ultimate happiness and wish fulfillment, the wounded warrior is somebody that they work very hard. So they go through the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs. They're very passionate about what they do, but it's tiring work. And so especially with traveling, let's see, and I got like traveling or something impending on the 17th of April. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense because there's the 17th. Now the star, this is Aquarius energy. We are in the age of Aquarius right now. And this talks about your hopes, dreams, wishes, desires, everything that it's like your heart's desire. She's wishing on a star. And this is also all about healing. So you have the temperance, the star. The temperance is the angel of the tarot deck. And this is telling you that you are protected in your travels. You have angels around you. So again, and then with this coming in with the 10 of cups and the 9 of wands, it's like what's coming in for you is going to be happiness. It's going to be fulfillment, but it's also going to take a lot of hard work. And you'll be tired. And especially if you're going to Paris, there's jet lag, there's all of that. Underneath the deck, the world. You're traveling the world. Like that's your cycles, the world. So the dates we're looking at, I'm actually going to say the 19th, 10 plus 9, because these fell, oh, sorry, 10 plus 9, because these fell out together. So we have the 14th, the 17th, the 19th could be significant, the 21st and 22nd. So I hope that brings you some clarity, insight, and answers, Sweet Tooth. And good luck and safe travel. So
beautiful. I love that. And she's saying that I have a couple of things to say. She's saying she's learning about psychic abilities herself. And right before I mentioned Magic Kingdom, she was thinking that that's like a double link. I think Abby and I talked about this before.
world tour.
Where she sensed what I was about to say before I said it. And I do teach mediumship. I don't teach psychic classes, but I teach mediumship. So if you want to subscribe, I have a bunch of learning videos under mediumship learning playlists. So feel free to watch those. But I want to say I loved Abby's reading. However, there's always a caveat because just because you had a positive reading doesn't mean it's what you want that's going to happen. It could be something completely different that happens that is something you need more than want, something you're supposed to be doing. So this, I'm not making a prediction. I'm just saying for anybody watching this on live or replay, just because you have a bunch of positive cards come out or a positive reading, it doesn't mean it's going to be the way you think it's going to be. Okay.
I agree 1,000%. And
We're both
also,
mothers. That's
yeah, we're
why.
both moms. So thank you for that. And thank you so much for saying that's the best reading that you've had. I really appreciate that.
Good.
I once heard a conversation people at a party were having like a few blocks away. Okay. Hi, Jeffrey. Thank you for joining us.
That's
Um,
clairaudience.
mhm.
That's clairaudience.
This happened while I was drinking at my friend's house last year. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
drinking can lower your inhibitions, so it can allow, as long as you know that that's what happened and you weren't too inebriated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Clear
clairaudience,
audience.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yep. So yeah, that's a psychic ability,
And,
or
s- and,
mediumship
s-
ability.
and Sweet Tooth just also messaged. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh,
A lot of psychics and healers, their gifts and abilities come out based on traumatic events and
I just
trauma
made a
generated.
video about that. It's in my drafts. I just made a video about that about an hour before this live.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, I'm so glad, Sweet Tooth. Uh, I completely believe you. I don't think that you are. You are so welcome.
And
Um,
Jeffrey said, I was just mildly tired, not really drunk. I have PTSD and borderline traits. This is very common. I have complex PTSD from a multitude of traumas I experienced in my life. We won't go into that. But my abilities, I am sure that I became very empathetic and empathic based on the trauma I experienced. And because when you are traumatized as a child, especially, you are always, your antenna is always up, waiting for the next
the
crappy
shoe to
thing to
drop.
happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Yep.
always waiting. So your senses, it's like a wire of electricity that has the rubber or the plastic taken off. It's ready to electrocute, and you're just like waiting, waiting, waiting. So your senses are always heightened when you have PTSD or any kind of trauma. um, yeah, empathy comes and goes. So from so many mental issues. So I would suggest a meditation practice first and foremost. You can get free meditations on YouTube. You can get free trials of things like Calm or what's the one my husband uses? I talk about it all the time. I'll think of it. But there's a bunch of apps. Meditation is key, and have a good therapist. Some type of group or individual therapy
Or a
that
strong
can help
support
you.
system. A hundred
Yeah.
percent. Yep.
And there's a gentleman called Billy Rubino. If you need his contact information, you can send me a message, who coaches people in your situation. If you want his information, let me know.
Jeffrey, what you're explaining is very similar to feelings that I've had in the past. I'm actually autistic ADHD. I didn't learn that until I was 37 and a half years old. So I'd been living with this my entire life, and we could just never put, our finger on why, I like why I ticked the way that I do. I've always been very empathic, but I completely feel you on that comment saying, I know I'm empathic, but sometimes I just don't feel it. I shut down too. I shut off. There's sometimes I just don't want to feel anything or talk to people, but it's a it's us like trying to set up our energetic personal boundaries. We get overstimulated. At least this is, for me as as an autistic speaking. But it's overstimulation, and that's when we start to shut down, and it's like you just don't want to soak in anybody else's energy around you. um I have ADHD and autism traits too, I think. Yep. So, and my best piece of advice is get it checked out if you can. That's how I found out and was properly diagnosed by a neurologist. Once you find out for sure, then you can start taking the steps to deal with that. Whatever those steps are. Myself, I had already been involved in spirituality, but I dove deeper, and it started, connecting all the dots and making sense as to, why I get these, messages and downloads from my spirits and the other side as
Mhm.
well. So,
Yep. And he says, sometimes I feel evil voices and thoughts, they come out of nowhere. I will tell you that evil voices are never, ever, 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 ever spirits. They are never, ever something from the spirit world. Those are things that are from your PTSD.
yep.
100%. I know it because I'm a medium and I have PTSD. Anything evil is human. It's never spirit. So just know that when you have those thoughts, and I just made a video about this. I batched a bunch of content today. Create gaps between those thoughts. So if you're thinking those thoughts, take a moment and be aware that you're thinking those thoughts. Awareness of the thoughts is key. Say, okay, I'm hearing these evil voices. Just recognize that. And then say, push, imagine if you can see things visually in your head, pushing those words that they're saying far apart from each other. Just visualize that, and then eventually it'll just go away.
Yes. I agree with that. Whenever I start to be, and it's because what you think about is what you manifest.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so the more, if you listen to these negative thoughts, then you're only going to be manifesting more negativity into your life. So it's really kind of like tricking your brain. Um,
Yes.
yeah, you have to. My first thing I do is I figure out, okay, I'm having these negative thoughts. How do I ground myself? Whether it's through meditation, listening to good calming music, vibrational frequencies, hertz frequencies. It could be even grabbing a cup of coffee or just
Mhm.
something that's going to. I know that's a stimulant, but something that brings me a little bit of peace for wherever I'm at in the day, and then it's tricking your brain to think of, okay, so if that's a negative thought, then what are all the good things that are happening to me right now? What
Pearl
are
Jam is my go-to. Pearl
Oh, I
Jam,
love that. Oh yeah, 100%.
100%
Um,
every time go-to, the first couple albums.
Kelly says I would start humming. I mean, it's like a self-soothing, or whatever it is that makes you feel at peace and calm and starts to get you grounded. That's what I focus on. That's how it really is a matter of tricking your brain to think about something positive in place of any negative thoughts. Singing soothes me too.
Singing,
Yep. Same
but the
here.
guitar doesn't. Okay, then sing. I sing, I drive my husband crazy because I love to sing, and I don't have a good singing voice, but I don't care. He'll watch, like the NCAA tournament, the first weekend it was on, 4 straight days, 12 hours a day, and he had just had surgery. So he couldn't do anything. So I put my AirPods on and I'm just singing. Singing soothes me too. But
Another thing that I do to change just my energy, I dance. I'm a huge dancer. I mean,
I'm
I'm
afraid
not a
my
da-
knee's gonna go out.
I was gonna say I'm not a
I'm a
dancer.
little
I'm like,
older
I
than
don't
that.
dance. I dance around my house. Half the time it's in front of my window and my neighbors are seeing me do it. So but it's the movement of moving your body, and it changes the energy, the vibrational frequency around you. It also, we were speaking about chakras earlier. When you dance, that I believe it's the root chakra is what dance and movement actually affects, but that helps open up certain chakras within your body when in movement.
Tai
Um,
Chi is very good for balancing. And sorry to interrupt, but that just brought it to my mind. And he said a Reiki healer told me he was in Andromedan a few weeks ago. So can I tell him my opinion? Okay.
sure.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it just made me think. But she said something about me being a star seed in my spirit tribe looking for me or something. It was hard to hear. So I am not going to say anybody's wrong. I will say that because my master's degree is in astronomy, the science of astronomy, and I've studied my actual field of study is astrobiology, meaning looking for life on other planets. That's literally what I do for my when I'm not doing this. Um, However, I have never had an experience. That doesn't mean it hasn't existed. It doesn't exist. Any reading I've done, I've never had an experience with someone from another planet. I 100% believe there's aliens. 100%. Andromedans would be from the Andromeda galaxy, which is like 250 million light years from here, like a crazy distance. So I don't know. Okay. Andromeda has 1 trillion stars, which means it has at least 5 trillion planets, which means it has a lot of habitable planets.
An
But if it's
infinite number.
200,
Yeah.
yeah, if it's 250 million light years from here, we're seeing it as it was 250 million 250 million years ago. So there's no time in the spirit world. So that is irrelevant to us. I haven't experienced that in my readings, but I would be very careful because there are a lot of mediums and psychics who tell people the same thing repeatedly. I have heard people on lives tell people this Andromedan story repeatedly. You could very well be a starseed, for sure, but take it with a grain of salt and use your critical thinking, and don't make it something you identify with for your life. Um, you're definitely a special person. That's why you've gone through so much trauma. The people who go through the worst crap are the ones who have the biggest purpose. That's my opinion. That's what I would say. So your purpose is big, whether you're an Andromedan or not.
Now, to add though to what you were saying earlier about quantum, what was the term?
Entanglement.
Quantum entanglement. Theoretically speaking, however, and being able to connect to the Andromedan galaxy
Yeah,
is technically possible.
yeah, instantaneously. For sure.
Yep. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting. Got to keep wary of what I hear. Yeah, just be aware that as long as nobody's charging you money to tell you that when they've told 100 other people the same thing that week, that's where I get like you're telling the same story to everybody. I
right.
had a medium friend of mine went to a gallery, and she said the medium had done probably 25 readings in 2.5 hours. And okay, it was a free reading. Okay.
Okay.
Um, and she told basically everybody almost the same exact thing. Your mom died, you had this trauma, I mean, it was just, she's like, it was weird because people paid a lot of money to go to it, and she told everybody the same exact thing.
Yeah.
She's here on TikTok. She does emotion code and quantum healing.
Emotion code. Quantum healing. Yeah.
Can you
So,
tell me who her name is? I'll tell you if I know who it is.
right. Yeah, you do a lot of work on TikTok too. I
Yeah.
am I will eventually get back up there, but right now it's just what I'm doing. And speaking on what you were just saying though too, like that's why I love using cards as my divination tool. Because I focus on, current energy and whatever the cards want to tell me. But it's like, so I have a physical, something physical to
Mhm.
prove what I'm saying, so that it's not the same repeated story to everybody that I
Yeah.
speak to. It's
Yeah, it's
always
always
something different.
different. Even if the card's the same, it's different because each
Yeah.
person has their own life path they're going through. So it's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey says, but she knew stuff she couldn't. Yeah. So she probably was definitely a trained medium or has mediumship abilities or psychic abilities for sure. And I'm not saying she was wrong. I'm
Right.
just saying that my experience was I have never experienced speaking to an Andromedan or any other alien.
Whether you have gifts and abilities or not, you have everybody has to use a certain amount of discernment when it
Mm,
comes to dealing with mediums or anybody in the spiritual world, especially because like on social media we talk about this all the time in probably every single one of these lives. But you've got those people who hit you up in your inbox saying, I felt called to come and read you, and
oh,
if you just pay me $500 right now,
grand rising.
unblock all of your chakras
Oh,
and
and
make your
people
life
pay it.
easy.
Meanwhile, I'm working 24/7 to just get legitimate mediumship readings booked.
That
He
part.
has multiple other things. Now, this I will tell you is absolute BS. Okay, Jeffrey, your soul has not fragmented, your soul is not lost. That is absolute crap. And anybody that told you that is full of it. Your soul, that's no, no. No, 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 F no. So many F's and so many no's. That's a BS. And I'm trying not to cuss because it's pissing me off when people do that stuff. That's wrong. So, what we have, and I did this on a live yesterday, we have an oversoul. Okay. Our oversoul always resides in the spirit world, which is an overlapping realm or dimension on top of where we are. Most people just can't see it. If this person was born in 1850, this person was born in 1920, and this person was born in 2000, they all may be reincarnated from this oversoul. So a tiny little fragment resides inside this person. Remember, it's non-local. So this soul comes and goes when the body dies. So the same soul could inhabit all of these people. These are all the same person reincarnated. We cannot fragment our soul. It is connected. So if you know anything about subatomic particles, the way they work, they are attracted to each other, okay? It's called the nuclear force, okay? The nucleus of an atom. That's how the soul is. You're not going to get it apart. You're not, unless you exploded. And I don't think you've exploded because you're typing. No, 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 no. You can
This
email
is
me who that was.
and this is also where the concept of soulmates. Um,
Thank you,
you know,
Kelly.
yeah, the people who share similar soul connections, soul ties, and um, they resonate, and it's that oversoul that you're talking about, correct?
Hmm. And the split, if you have a split personality, that has nothing to do with your soul. Nothing. That's your biological brain. Your soul is intact and unharmed. That's your brain, not your soul. Unless you're hearing a spirit and you're a medium that you don't know. That's a totally different story. Totally different story. Yeah.
Biological. Okay,
I
thanks,
have
Steph.
degrees in science, and I don't think that person did, and I don't think that person was trained in mediumship properly, because you gotta email me privately and tell me who that was, because no, no. I'm sorry. That's so no. It makes me
So
mad because it hurts people.
yeah, that definitely hurts people. While we have still a few minutes left for hour long live, for those of you still on the stream, if you've got questions, or if you would like a mediumship reading from Peaceful Nik or a tarot card reading from myself, drop your question or request in the comments below. And Nick, what do you have coming up right now? What any special services, any classes?
Um, I have okay, thanks, Jeffrey. I have just my regular readings. I have my class tomorrow night, my beginner's mediumship class. If you have questions about that, you can put them in the chat or email me. Um, I have a coupon for $50 off any full reading. Proof 50, PROOF 50 for $50 off. And I actually will be traveling a lot this summer, so my readings will be limited in the summer because I have a lot of Mars projects that I have to travel for. So probably the second half of July and the first half of August, I won't be doing any readings or lives. Um, and I won't be in the hot, hot Florida. I'll be in California and Seattle, so I'm pretty excited about that.
We'll have to link
Um,
up when you're back out here out west.
I'll be in LA mid to end of July for a week.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, thank you so much for all of your communication back and forth with us. Thank you. Um, so for myself, this is the month of April. I am the Cannastrologer, and many of us know April is
420.
420 is a major day in the
8 more days.
Yeah, cannabis plant medicine space. And so I am giving, because it's the fourth month of the year, I'm giving off a 20% discount on any of my personal readings. So you can find all of my information in the description below
I
this
fixed
video.
it.
Or, okay,
I
well, I was going to
fixed
say
it.
at the end of the video, but just check it out. So 20% off of any of my readings. What else? What else? I think that's all I have going on right now. Big announcement though, that I can officially announce now. So the Cannastrologer has now been picked up by Cincy Media. And so if you go to cincymag.com, you can start to see my monthly horoscopes um, on their media platform. And they're also going to be, helping push out my free tarot readings that I have on my channel, the Cannastrologer Tarot, here on YouTube. So very excited about that partnership.
I'm looking at it now when you um so he likes weed and ketamine. Well, that's probably going to give you some negative voices in your mind. And I'm sure that's for your PTSD. Just make sure you use it properly.
That's exactly it. And this is a good topic. We definitely should do another live, maybe on this in the future. I was literally just yesterday, Jeffrey, at a fundraising event for Psychedelics, and I live in the state of Nevada. We are as far as cannabis, we are a medical and adult use state here for cannabis. But when it comes to psychedelics, ketamine, and all of that, that's something that there's a big movement for, not just in this state, but in others. And I was literally listening to a professor and doctor from UNLV last night talking about the different forms of treatment, through psychedelics, such as ketamine, such as, psilocybin, and those types of things. And while they are very effective and can be effective, exactly what Nik just said, it has to be used as an actual medicine and not as just, something that you're trying out and maybe like as like a party or type of, party type of substance. It has to be used responsibly in order for it to be effective for what you need it for. So that said, that type of information, there's tons and tons and tons of research, almost more research on psychedelics than there is in cannabis. And so all of that information is going to be coming out more and probably within the next 2 years. Um, but it definitely, when I talk about that at all, I talk about it on a medicinal and very responsible type of level.
And I will tell you that there's a difference between somebody who can use it and function in their life and people who use it and cannot function whatsoever. I
Sure.
have a couple of friends who use cannabis daily, and it has they have used it as a crutch to completely stop their life. They do nothing. They have no retirement, they have nothing. How they survive off other people, I guess. And terrible because they're in their 50s. Anything can be a bad road, whether it's fully addictive physically or mentally. So everything, just be careful. If your life is not going as planned, maybe rethink it. For
Yeah.
I'm not talking to Jeffrey necessarily, just people in general.
Right. Yeah. With cannabis, I mean, I've been using cannabis since I was 15 years old. Again, I didn't know at the time that I had autism and ADHD and
It
PTSD now,
probably
but
helped you. It
oh,
probably helped
1000%.
you.
So
People with
when I was diagnosed by the neurologist, he literally said to me these words, "What have you been doing to survive this entire time?" And I was like, "Survive?" I'm like, I didn't, that was an interesting way to put it.
I'm
And
thriving.
yes, I'm great. I just can't focus on anything. But no, I told him, I said, I use cannabis. Can you talk to me more about that and plant medicine? He goes, well, no, I can't. Of course I can't. And I said, well, why not? Because we've been in a legal
Because they
state
don't make
since
money off it.
bingo. That was exactly it. And but what's interesting is from that point, I had already up until that point used cannabis for all those years because I knew that it was something that helped me and made me feel normal. But it was after that point that I realized that I needed to use it more responsibly as a medicine. And, back in the day, like you were talking about when we, used to hang out and smoke, we didn't know what we were smoking. We were smoking
No,
whatever was
whatever you
available.
got, you got. Whatever you
Yeah,
got, you
whatever
got.
was available. Now, though, we know that each strain has its own individual cannabinoids and terpenes and all of these things, the components that, make up cannabis are it's what it affects within your body and your own
And it's different for
cannabinoid system.
everybody. And it's different for
Everybody.
everybody.
And so
Um,
I was literally having a conversation with a mother who was at this event last night and who was saying a very similar story that she's got a child and his just he's not doing well and all he does is smoke all day. And the first question I asked her, I said, "What is he smoking?" I'm like, "Do you know what he's using? Is it sativa? Is it indica? What are the cannabinoids and terpenes within it?"
is there
And
CBD? Is it mixed with CBD, which would
right,
be
when you
more
know this
beneficial?
information, you can use it more effectively because things like myrcene, for instance, myrcene is one of the cannabinoids or cannabinoids, I believe it's cannabinoid, but it's almost like a sedative. It puts you, I always say it's what's found a lot in like indicas, because I always
Indica.
say yeah, indica couch, it'll help relax you. But I believe I want to say it's limonene or something. It's either limonene or pinene, but one of those two. That's what you find in a lot of sativas, and it helps you focus better. And so for myself, I learned that for me to be able to function more effectively by using cannabis as my medicine, I have to use sativa during the day because it keeps me alert, keeps me focused, keeps me on track. But then at the end of the day, I'm tired, and I need my mind to relax because being autistic, it's always going, 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 and it never stops. So indicas for me at night is what helps me relax and helps put my mind at ease and gets me ready to get a real true night's rest,
Mhm.
if that's a real thing. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, so that's it's just it's about using it responsibly and medicinally, versus just I mean, it can always be fun to hang, to enjoy as well, but when you know that you've got things, medical reasons that it can be useful to you, I would stick to that instead. And then
I
then
Okay, he's just talking about the racy mind. I suggest CBD for that, just plain CBD.
try it out.
Um, yeah, 25 milligrams. Try that. It might make you tired, so make sure you're not driving anywhere.
Right.
CBD is really good for the racing mind. Really good. I found that THC, the older I got and the stronger the strains are so strong now. It's unbearable.
Mm.
Um, I found that I would rather have CBD than anything because
Well,
it reduces body inflammation, helps me sleep. I spend a lot of time walking around the Magic Kingdom, and so there's that, all the
yeah.
noise. um, so yeah, I think
Well,
CBD is wonderful.
and just to add to what you just said, I know you're saying that I can't even talk. Cannabis has gotten stronger as the industry is expanded, but it's not the THC content. It's not the percentage of THC that technically makes the effects of the strain strong for a person.
Oh, I didn't
It's
know that.
it literally is all about the cannabinoids and terpenes and how they affect your body individually.
Oh,
You can have, like, for instance, there's a strain called Blue Dream, and people love Blue Dream. They swear by it. It's one of the older, more like OG strains and whatnot. And they swear that as soon as they take it, they can focus. They're doing great. This and that. It does nothing for me. It doesn't matter how high the
because your
THC
biology is
content.
different.
yeah, it just doesn't work for me. So I know anytime I see that, I don't touch it because it doesn't do anything for me. But other strains do. So it really is kind of like trial and error. You have to find, something that works for
Mhm.
you and how you want it to work. So anyway,
Medicinally,
yes, medicinally.
medicinally. Disclaimer, medicinally.
And speaking on a spiritual level, it is, cannabis and plant medicine in general. Um, that also is one of the ways that helps me
Connect.
expand my mind, so I can connect as well. I
Well,
always say that
historically, yeah, and historically, anthropologically, we know that hallucinogenics have been used for millennia,
yeah,
thousands of
ayahuasca
years.
and all of
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
thousands of years
Shamans
to
have been using
expand.
this for thousands of years.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
To expand their mind, to expand their awareness, because when your mind is so busy with daily stuff, you've got to be able to quiet it and open it up. So
Hmm. Yep. Putting
I could
yourself in a meditative
we could
state
probably talk for 5 hours just about this.
all day long. So that said, I don't see any new.
Yeah,
I don't.
I don't see any either. That's okay.
Yep.
We'll build up. I think we've been kind of since Doug's surgery off and on
Yeah. I've had a lot going on too, but we will be back, next week with another
next week.
topic.
On the Cannastrologer Tarot's page.
It'll be on my Yep, it'll be on my
Hmm.
channel. So make sure you guys go and follow the Tarot. Make
And
sure that you
subscribe to
guys,
my page too.
yep, 100% do that now, please and thank you. And last call for any last minute readings, if you guys have one. Heard
Like,
psychedelics. Could alcohol have the same effect of opening up as weed? Okay, that's actually a good
uh,
question. So while
have a
I
lot
believe,
of opinions about that.
yeah, so while I believe that alcohol can, to a certain degree, relax your mind so that it opens, it can relax your
Reduces
mind.
inhibitions.
Yes. Is it a good thing to depend on to be able to connect? No, it's still a toxin. It's still bad for your body. It is poison, in your system. It's not
One of the
natural.
worst things. It's one of the worst things you can use, and how it's legal.
Yeah, and in fact, I mean, I live in Las Vegas. There's alcohol around all the time. I grew up, drinking, and back in January of 2023, um, I gave it up. I just didn't. I got to a point where I'm like, I just don't need it anymore. Like I spiritually speaking, I was diving deeper into spirituality. And I just realized it just was not healthy for me trying to connect. Also, just physically speaking, the older I get, the harder it is for me to handle the
And to
hangovers.
bounce back. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So it's
I
just
would say,
it's
yeah.
not even fun for me anymore. But will I go out and, enjoy an evening with friends and, smoke a little something? Yes, that helps me, relax and whatever. But when I sit down for readings, that also helps me as well. So, but alcohol never does.
I
Totally
have
makes
not
sense.
had a drink of alcohol. The last time I had a half a glass of wine, probably 10 or 12 years ago. I've never been an alcohol drinker, and I had a half a glass of wine one night and I was sick for 3 days.
Yeah, and Jeffrey,
That's how I'm so sensitive to it.
yeah, everything in what's that word?
Moderation.
Everything in
Moderation.
moderation. Thank you. I am like my girlfriends. If we're out and they're like, "Oh, this tastes so good. You should taste it." I'll take a sip. Like it's not me. It's not me drinking. I'm just tasting something, But do
Yeah,
I have the desire to gulp it down afterwards? Absolutely not. It's kind of like cigarettes, Like I used to smoke back in the day, and yes, I
me
do smoke
too.
cannabis, but it's a completely different taste and flavor now that it's not part of my system anymore. And I know that if I even the smell now gets me, whatever, I can't do it. And I'm
Yeah.
not, I'm not harping on smokers or anything, but I'm just yeah.
We're changing. So I would say that through my spiritual journey, so many things, especially in the last couple of months, have shifted extremely dramatically for me. I can barely tolerate any noise at all. Especially TV commercials make me crazy. Um, but as far as like, I don't even have the desire to use cannabis. I don't even have the desire, like I could care less about alcohol. I never could. It never went well with my body. But I just am moving to such a quieter place. And I think it's because of all the healing work I'm doing for myself and helping others that I just want quiet and calm and
Mm,
peace and
peace.
not garbage and junk and drama. Kristen says, yeah, the smell can sometimes get to me too. I've smoked hookah, but I can't do too much.
Yeah.
The last time I tried smoking, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Like, and it was like one puff. Like I'm 53, so I don't know if it has something to do with my hormones. Just no, it just doesn't. It makes my brain go.
Well, and
And
here's the
back
thing
in the
about
day, it wasn't like that.
And the thing about smoking, anything, it doesn't even matter if it's weed. If you smoke, inhalation by smoking anything, there's still carcinogens that are going
Mhm.
into your body because of the way that you're, smoking or whatever. Um, but, as far as cannabis goes, there's other ways to use cannabis, such as
Mhm.
edibles, tinctures, topicals, even,
Mhm.
so it's all about, what you enjoy, what your system, what your body can take,
And again, everybody's body is so different.
different.
Hormones change over the years. That's a big thing. In men, their hormones also change. Whether they like to admit it or not,
Hmm.
they have a monthly hormone cycle, just like women, and women get all the blame for it, but men get cranky menstruation symptoms too,
Oh,
and
yes.
their hormones also change. Their libido changes. So if all of those things are changing for men and women, it's going to change how when we partake in things, that is going to change how we feel. Idle mind
Well,
is a devil's playground. Weed gets you stoned and makes it easy to be messed with by demons. Oh, fatality. Demons aren't real, honey.
so
Yeah, Kristen likes
menstruation.
menstruation.
That's funny. So vitality. Again, you may have just popped on and didn't hear our earlier conversation, but yes, weed can get you stoned if you're using it to get you stoned. But weed can also be used medicinally if you're using it responsibly, and it actually helps people focus. For me, for example, I have
Yeah.
autism and ADHD. I've been using cannabis since a very young age. When I use cannabis, I use it not to get stoned so that I, sit there and can't function. I use it actually so I can focus and so I can get myself motivated and get myself going. It all depends on the type of cannabis that you're using because not all cannabis is the same. It all has different cannabinoids and terpenes in it that affects everybody's endocannabinoid system within their own bodies differently, every single person. So,
And And Vitality, I'm gonna guess, I'm just gonna make a prediction as a psychic, probably grew up in a family that said weed was the devil's lettuce, and they were probably in some kind of Christian church and said weed was so bad, but they all got trashed on alcohol every weekend and pretended they didn't and went to church hungover and sang in the choir.
well,
I'm just gonna guess that because this is a real big thing in America with the divide between alcohol and weed and the weed's devil. No, 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 no.
yeah.
Alcohol is so horrible for your body.
And not just alcohol, a lot of these pharmaceuticals and pills that are being pushed upon us by medical
Now, now,
practitioners
now he's saying he smokes weed every day. So why did you say that?
because he was
Oh,
giving us a hard
okay.
time. My family are drinkers.
Okay. Well, that's great. But you
but
know
what
what
i'm
I'm
saying
talking about.
but what I'm saying though about the pharmaceuticals and whatnot, that's even more poisonous than alcohol
Oh
to
my God.
to me.
I have a sister who has a mystery illness. You know, I have a bunch of sisters.
Hmm.
And she's been struggling for, I guess it's 3 years now with this mystery illness, and she can't get any help from any doctor. They keep passing her around, and any medication that they've given her has made her symptoms worse. She has what looks like MS and seizures and lupus and like a whole bunch of stuff, but she can't get a formal real diagnosis. So the only thing she can do, and I told her the only thing you can do is just take a bunch of CBD every day. Just
Mhm.
takes like 25 milligrams 2 or 3 times a day. And when she takes it within 5 to 10 minutes, because she takes the tincture, her symptoms are gone for
Yep.
hours. But as soon as she doesn't take it, it's like that little girl um, that CBD was made for that had all the
Charlotte.
seizure. Charlotte's Web, I
Yeah.
think, is what
Yeah.
they called it.
It's the formula is called Charlotte's Web. Charlotte is the one, she had cancer, I believe. And yeah, it's a very big study, huge study,
Yep,
huge story. And
yep. And so,
there's many stories like that in the space. I actually sit on the board of directors for, it's called the Colton Turner Foundation. It's a 501c3 that is dedicated to third party triple blind research for cannabis and plant medicine studies, and how it applies to things like PTSD, Crohn's disease, autism, ADHD, all of that, specifically in children, but also in adults. um, Colton Turner was a child who was diagnosed with Crohn's disease at a very young age. And just like you were saying, like everything that the doctors were giving him, it was just making him worse and worse
mhm.
and worse and worse. And so
Some people's
finally,
biology can't handle pharmaceuticals at all, and I'm
yeah,
one of them. I can't take hardly anything.
yeah. And so finally, his family found cannabis, moved him up to Colorado. And because they had seen stories like Charlotte's Web,
Mhm.
working on children, and they were able to create or formulate, formula that worked for him. He just celebrated, I want to say it's his 21st or 22nd birthday. And he's still like in remission, but still also using cannabis to keep himself there. So um it's phenomenal, what plant medicine can actually do for children and adults alike. And my
Kristen
mother-in-law's
was saying,
Parkinson's.
yeah,
Hmm.
her
Yeah.
mother-in-law has Parkinson's. I say try her on CBD. I've seen people use weed for that, but if she's worried that it's going to make her feel funny, try CBD. It's just the good stuff taken out of the weed that doesn't make you high, and it has all the other good effects. CBD, CBN, there's a bunch of them. Abby probably knows more.
And make
This
sure that you're looking for,
conversation went I'm gonna have to add that and marijuana.
yeah, Kristen, make sure that also if you're looking for CBD, that you're looking for full spectrum, because that
Yeah.
includes all of the good stuff without anything taken out. So
Yeah. And CBD, it's amazing. And if you get her the liquid tastes kind of funny, but the liquid works the fastest. Or you
yeah.
can get the little gummies the chewables, like a vitamin C chewable, but it's CBD. It'll take longer to work, but it just depends. The tinctures I think taste not good if she's, doesn't like the taste.
It's medicine. Medicine doesn't always taste
Yeah.
good, you
Yeah.
know?
I mean,
Yeah.
she might be picky. I don't know.
Yeah. All
um,
right.
yeah,
Well,
this conversation went really far astray, but I think it's an
yeah.
important conversation to have. Um, and always use any substance properly, like the beer commercials and the whiskey commercials. Please drink responsibly. Please use anything responsibly. Don't harm yourself or others. Don't drive. Don't use heavy machinery. Um, do the right thing.
Do the right thing. Yeah. Make sure you're around loving, supportive people, if you need people around to do it. Vitality. I love that comment. I love that point. That is a whole nother topic on my
Yep.
Cannastrologer
We
channel
could
that I can definitely dive into on
we
another
could
day.
talk about that for 5 hours. Those are the
All day
last
long.
people that
Yeah.
are gonna go do that because
Yes.
they just want peace and love. You know? They're not violent. That's a different type of thing.
So, yeah, so we will be back next Friday, same time.
Same
As
time.
of right now, same time. Make sure you guys check us on all of our other social platforms to look for the announcements. We look forward and thank you guys for being here and supporting us. Make sure you follow us on our YouTube channel, subscribe to our channels, And reach out to
Think
us if you have
it's
questions or
all
want
linked below,
readings.
I think. Yeah, it's all linked below, pretty sure. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, it's been another happy Friday with the
Happy
Cannastrologer and
Friday.
Peaceful Nik, the medium. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we look forward to hosting this again next week.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye, sweetie. Mwah. Bye,
Peace, y'all.
everybody. Bye.